Have you ever wondered what goes on behind the table at a dance competition? Exactly what are the judges looking for anyway? This is Making the Impact, a dance competition podcast. Each week we'll cover a different topic related to the world of competitive dance from the perspective of the judges behind the table. Dancers can choose from so many professional performance avenues as they embark on their careers after the competitive dance world. Today on Making the Impact, we talk to two concert dancers about their experience in the concert dance scene and hear advice for young dancers interested in pursuing this path.
Hey Dance World, welcome to this week's episode of Making the Impact. I'm your host, Courtney Ortiz, and I'm here with my co-host, Lesley Mealor.
Hey Courtney, happy podcast day.
Happy podcast day. Happy April. I'm excited to be here with you and two brand new guests on this episode to talk all about the concert dance scene of our dance world.
I know, me too. So that is not my world at all. So I'm excited to learn a little bit more about it and hear about these two guests' experiences, and hopefully our listeners out there learn a little bit too.
Yes, this is going to be a really great discussion for all of the dancers out there who maybe love contemporary and might want to break into that professional dance world after going to college or diving right in after they graduate from their studio. You're going to hear some fantastic tips and advice from these two guests. But before we jump into our episode, we want to tell you about our Making the Impact award winners at IDA affiliated competition events. This is going to one dance at an IDA comp that your IDA judges get to pick, and it's that dance that they just cannot stop thinking about by the end of the weekend. And they wanted to recognize them with a lovely award on site at the event, as well as a shout out live on the podcast. That's one of the perks of winning the Making the Impact award. And we have 3 award winners to share today.
From Just Dance Invitational's event in Las Vegas, Nevada, congrats to Dance Dynamics from Las Vegas for their solo Writings on the Wall performed by Tyler B.
From Starbound's event in Springfield, Massachusetts, congrats to the Dance Slipper Academy from Southwick, Massachusetts for their solo Disappear performed by Ava P.
And from Diva Dance Competition's event in Fall River, Massachusetts, congratulations to Edge Studio of Dance for their solo Sea Lion Woman performed by Brooklyn M.
Congrats to all of our recent Making the Impact award winners, and stay tuned to hear more throughout the dance competition season. And like always, let's hear from our sponsors.
Hey dance friends and fam, let's talk about feet. Just like teaching the proper foundational movements, you've got to have the proper footwear to be your best. I switched to Apollo-Shox dance socks and I'm never going back. Want to experience this foot utopia for yourself? Use our podcast promo code IMPACT10 in all caps in the promo box at checkout and receive 10% off your order. Oh, and something else that I love? They have a satisfaction guarantee with free returns and exchanges. Head to their website to order your new pair of dance compression socks at apollaperformance.com. That's APOLLA performance.com.
Our Season 5 premier sponsor, Francisco Gala Danceworks, is thrilled to introduce New Century Dance Project, a performance festival for the aspiring choreographers. Throughout this 7-day intensive, you will learn the craft of choreography from the perspective of not only the choreographer, but also for the dancers. New Century Dance Project hosts many components during their event, such as a choreography intensive, a prestigious choreography competition, concert performances, and community outreach events. The intensive starts each day with a technique class, followed by classes and seminars that will help you hone your choreographic skills, like compositional techniques, improv, music selection, lighting design, and so much more. Submit your work into the New Century Dance Project choreography competition, which offers 3 different age groups: high school, undergraduate, and emerging professional. The competition results in a Critics' Choice winner and a People's Choice winner for each age division. If you're an aspiring choreographer 15 years or older and looking to advance your composition game, then head to the New Century Dance Project, happening this summer in Santa Fe, New Mexico, from July 29th through August 4th, 2024. And don't forget, if you want to save $75, use our exclusive podcast promo code, Making the Impact, in all caps, when registering for the festival. Learn more on their website and register now at newcenturydanceproject.org. Thank you to Francisco Gala Danceworks for being our Season 5 premier sponsor. We're jumping into this week's episode, and we're talking all about concert dance today on Making the Impact, which I'm sure we've talked about a handful of times. We've had an episode about concert dance, maybe all the way back in Season 1, I think it was, Lesley. That was a long time ago.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute for sure, but I'm really excited to bring two brand new guests. And I think the important thing about this discussion is that these guests also came from the competitive dance world. So they were one of you, if you're a dancer out there listening who loves contemporary and wants to break into the concert dance scene as a professional. And now they're going to share all of their advice and experiences in their professional dance world. Two brand new guests are joining us, two friends of mine. Can't wait to hear from them. First guest I'm excited to welcome. I met her a few years back teaching alongside her on Revel Dance Convention. She's an amazing dance educator, beautiful dancer, and a New Yorker as well. I'm excited to welcome Madi Hicks to the podcast. Welcome, Madi.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much, Courtney and Lesley. I can't wait to talk all things concert dance.
Yay! I'm so thrilled to have you as well. And if you wouldn't mind telling the world more about you, where you grew up, what your early dance training was like, any career credits, and what you're working on now.
Yeah, so I grew up in Dallas, Texas. Like Courtney said, I was a competition dancer, and I just loved to go to conventions and learn from all the teachers and soak up all the knowledge. I went to Performing Arts High School called Booker T. Washington, which really opened up my mind to modern dance and more concert dance opportunities, choreographic opportunities, all those things. And from there, I went to the Juilliard School where, similar to Booker T, I just kind of continued to open my mind to concert dance, got really into modern training, got really into composition classes, and fell in love with choreographing and teaching and all the things. From there, I went to LA and I danced with LA Dance Project for a season with the wonderful Doug Baum.
Yes.
And we had a lot of fun traveling the world. I only did one season because I loved choreographing so much and was really feeling that itch to keep creating and wanted to take a slightly different path than, everyone's path is unique and individual, but I felt a little bit like I was taking a shift, and I went to grad school to get my MFA in choreography at Cal Arts. It was then where I again fell more in love with creating and being on the other side of things, still performing, but on a smaller scale / more for myself and in my own projects and stuff. So I did that for a couple of years, moved back to New York, and now we're just freelancing up here, choreographing, teaching, directing, performing. I danced for Sidra Bell for a while, and now I'm mainly focusing on my own company called Moving Forward. We have our big first full evening of my work, which I'm really terrified and excited about, happening this June in New York City. So I'm working a lot on that, and I teach for 24/7 Dance Convention and at Steps on Broadway, stuff like that. So yeah, wearing all the hats, doing all the things, and loving it.
Wow. Yes, you are. You are doing
so
all
many
the
things.
Oh my gosh. And where is your show happening in New York, and what are the dates? Tell the world.
Oh, please come, everybody. Please. It is June 15th and 16th at Perry Dance's KNJ Theater. It's their black box theater. And a couple of the pieces have been workshopped before at different residencies. We had a residency at Orsolina in Italy, and then we had a residency at 14th Street Y about a month ago. But besides that, everything is pretty much fully self-funded, and we're doing a lot of fundraising and grant writing, and we got a beautiful grant from Young Arts we're very grateful for. So yeah, lots of work is being put into this, lots of fundraising, and I have a beautiful new company of 7 dancers. The show will also premiere 3 new works by 3 composers.
Wow.
So please come. Tickets go on sale May 1st, and follow at Moving Forward Dance on Instagram for all updates.
Yay!
That's so impressive. I am already in awe.
Yes.
Thank you. I hope you guys could come.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that you had a company, Madi. That's amazing.
Thanks, Doug. Look at us learning more about each other.
Yeah.
All right, and our next special guest who is joining us on this episode is one of my oldest friends. I have known him for pretty much my entire life. We grew up dancing together at our studio known as Hot Shots National Dance Team, or Mid-Atlantic Center for the Performing Arts, which is still out there today, and they are fierce. And we just had the most fun together growing up. I love sharing my time with him, and it was so exciting for me as a friend to watch this person go on to have such a beautiful career in the concert dance space. And I've even had the chance to watch them perform recently, a few years back with LA Dance Project. I'm so excited to welcome my dear friend, Doug Baum, to the podcast. Welcome, Doug.
Yes. Hi. Thank you so much for having me, Courtney. Oh my gosh. This is full circle.
It is full circle. And I
Yeah.
love being able to like bring, and I know Lesley and I both like love being able to bring friends in onto the podcast. It just feels so good to have it be a full circle moment and to like, hear all about all of your success in your career and what you've learned in your career. And I knew this would be the perfect episode for you. So I'm really glad you were able to join
Oh,
us.
yeah, me too. And thanks for asking me to share because I'm so happy to be here and to do that, just that.
Yay. Well, Doug, same thing, just like Maddie, if you wouldn't mind telling us more about you. Everyone obviously can probably put it together that you grew up in Maryland with me, but feel free to tell the world where you went from there and any career credits.
Oh gosh, I have to talk about myself. Uh, well, where to begin? Let's start at the very beginning. That's the great place to start. So yeah, Courtney and I, this was literally, I had done a bunch of sports growing up, and then I decided that I needed to dance because I love to dance, and my mom was like, "We need to get you in a dance class." So that's when I found MCPA, and that's when I met Courtney. So that the very earliest stages was being a competition dancer with no technical training whatsoever. Couldn't point my feet.
You could do a back handspring.
Oh yeah, I had tricks because I had done gymnastics and I had a athletic ability because I came from an athletic family. Fast forward, I did about 3 years of competition dance, and then I auditioned for Baltimore School for the Arts because I knew I wanted to get a little more serious into the hardcore training, if you will. So then I went to Baltimore School for the Arts where I graduated, and then I went to Fordham University, aka the Ailey School, where I graduated in 2010. Wow, that's ages ago. That's where I got my BFA, and I apprenticed with Ailey too during that time. Learned so much, worked with so many choreographers in New York, met so many people. Started doing summer programs as I was graduating and went on to do Springboard 2 years in a row. I did the Netherlands Dance Theater, sorry, yeah, NDT summer program. I did Movement Invention Project. I got my first professional job from Springboard with Jose Navas Company Flack. From there, I went and did Rock the Ballet with Rasta Thomas and Adrian Canterno, big shift. And then, let's see, went to Ballet Jazz after that for about 6 months, short contract, but did that. Also worked with Yuri Zukov, project-based company in San Francisco. I moved back to New York. I got a job with Complexions after apprenticing with Perry Dance. And then left Complexions after 3 seasons, worked with Perry Dance again as a company member for a little bit, and then auditioned for LA Dance Project in New York. And then I moved out to LA in 2018, where I met Madison Hicks, and we danced together at LA Dance Project. And yeah, that was my, I guess, last company job, if you will. And then I got a job at USC as an adjunct lecturer.
So are you officially retired? A
Oh,
retired
oh, that's
performer?
a oh, that's a loaded
It
question.
is.
I guess the answer is yes and no, but I haven't really, yeah, been on stage that much. I was on stage last year in like November at the World Choreography Awards here in Los Angeles.
Cool.
Yeah, so it was like a 10-month hiatus after leaving Los Angeles Dance Project before I like returned to the stage. And it was kind of like, mm, do I really want to do this again? Or am I
Mm,
okay with everything that I've done? And am I
mm,
like, I'm good. I'm good.
yeah.
Like it's time to transition away. It's time to now I'm teaching more than ever. I'm choreographing. Yeah. So I guess in a sense, yeah, I feel like I'm retired to some degree, which is nice, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My body after all these years was kind of speaking to me like, dude, we've done a lot and you've had a good run. Like,
Right.
It'll tell you.
you don't have yeah, it will tell you, and it's not like I have to force it where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I just what am I gonna do if I don't dance in a company or I'm not on stage. It's like, well, it's inevitable.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you've had an amazing career, and I'm super proud of you.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. I appreciate that. But you've also had an incredible career. Like
Thank
you
you.
also have the accolades. You wouldn't be doing this if you didn't.
Yeah, we wouldn't be here at Making the Impact if Lesley and I didn't even get to meet. We wouldn't even know each other because Lesley and I go way
Right,
back to our cruise
right.
ship days. So,
Okay.
If you had stayed at Marymount, we would never have met.
nope. You're right.
She left college to come do the contract that we did together. So everybody's path is the way it's supposed to be.
Yes.
It's been laid out, and now we're just on the ride.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. And making the impact.
Yes, we are.
Oh, man. And with that, why don't we jump into our episode?
Let's jump into this fantastic chat about concert dance. I can't wait to learn from y'all because I definitely have dabbled in the concert dance world here and there earlier on in my career, but I definitely took a shift into more of the musical theater, Broadway scene in my professional dance career. So I'm excited to learn from both of you.
Yeah, same. My background is very much more musical theater dance. I went to Oklahoma City University, so there's not a stitch of concert dance training there at all. So my question for you, so if there's anybody out there, especially who comes from the competitive world, who may be more, less versed in what concert dance even is, what are the differences do you find between concert dance and commercial dance? Just generally speaking, I know that's a very large question.
I think the difference for me, I guess the main highlight is just the structure and the content of what's being performed. I feel like the commercial world, it's very focused on like camera oriented stuff or anything along those lines, whereas I feel like concert dance is more of like the stage setting, installation pieces. I think most of the time it revolves around technique too. Like the Graham companies, Ailey, you have to have a very specific training to do that kind of work. So like if you're gonna dance with the Graham company, you have to have studied Graham.
Right. You can't just walk in with your ballet tap jazz class and say, I could do this.
I mean, some people, I feel like some people have or could.
Yeah.
I mean, if I recall even Madonna was like doing Graham and Horton at the Ailey School, I believe, before she became this. Yeah. So, and like when I think of concert dance, I guess the main company that comes to mind for me is like NDT, Netherlands Dance Theater, which they have like these huge sets on stage and they're like moving sets sometimes. And yeah, I think that differentiates from like the commercial world where that's very like musical theater, Broadway, music videos, or anything of that sort. So I think they kind of separate in terms of the presentation.
Okay.
I also feel like it almost feels like more theatrical and entertainment value in the commercial world versus artistic and producing art in the concert world. And like dance is always art, but it's like the actual viewer and the purpose of the art is entirely different for commercial versus concert in my head. I don't know if y'all feel that way.
No, I think you're absolutely right about that. And I think they're also targeting different audiences.
Yes.
Right.
Definitely. And I also feel like it has a lot to do with sometimes like length of process as well. Like a lot of concert works, we like premiere long shows, B, spend a long time creating those shows. I mean, obviously there's repertoire and all those things, but there's a lot of longer creative processes versus, a lot of commercial gigs are 2 days or 1 week, which obviously there's pros and cons to both of those things as well. But I think that I'm sure we'll talk more about this, but we've all done it all and we can do it all. So I think that when I remember a lot of high school people are like, I don't know which track to go down, but you can dabble in all the things.
And I think it's easier now to do that because we have more access to all types of training. I feel like 25 years ago, you really did have to pick, period, the end. But I do see now a lot of concert dancers and a lot of concert work even has kind of taken a little turn sometimes to be a little more commercialized because of the money aspect, because of we need to bring in the younger audiences. Like, how do we make this relevant to the future of our audience? Because a lot of the audience, is donating money elsewhere or spending their money elsewhere. So I think that's kind of a cool shift too, to kind of blend the worlds a little bit.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think they fall under this kind of umbrella, where just because it's commercial and it's concert doesn't mean they can't be within the same parameters.
Definitely.
I think they're drawing inspiration from all aspects. And I think they do bleed into one another at certain points, even though it does sometimes, I guess, in the dance world, feel kind of like oil and water.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's so much contemporary in commercial dance.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like,
yes, that
to
part.
me, it's so laughable when we're like, what is contemporary dance? Or like, what is commercial and what is concert? Like, I think it's all very gray, very
Yeah.
blurry. Like, I think we defined it well with like the time length and the production stuff.
Yeah.
But besides that, I'm like, contemporary is in everything. And we use contemporary in every gig nowadays.
Yeah. It's true.
I mean, it's on Broadway even. I
Yes.
mean,
Right.
which is, I think is awesome. Like, I would love to create on Broadway one day.
Oh,
Like, I think
yeah.
it's great. But I just think it's a very diverse art form. Like, it can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which is good for all of our listeners out there, because I think a lot of people think that if you want to be a contemporary dancer, your only path is concert dance. And I don't think that is the only path for you. I think there is, like you just said, contemporary in the commercial world. It's there. I mean, I would say that if you want more consistency, it's probably better to be a contemporary dancer in a company, in the company setting.
Oh, yeah.
Than commercially. And I think that honestly, consistently in general, like there's not a lot of consistency in a commercial career because
Right.
it doesn't matter what genre you're doing. Whereas
Right.
like
Totally.
that's one of the perks of being in the concert dance world, is that if you make it into a company, usually you're in like a locked in contract for X amount of time, and that job security is really nice, and I think a lot of people like that aspect. So I'm curious to go back to what you mentioned earlier, Madi. I'm curious to know why you both chose the concert route for your professional careers, especially growing up as competitive dancers or in the competitive dance scene or dabbled in that. When you were graduating from college, why did you say, I want to go concert?
I feel like for a couple different reasons. I never really considered the commercial world, to be honest. I think that I didn't feel like I belonged in it. Like when I took classes in LA, I think you're just like, your body knows, like your soul knows when it's in the wrong rooms. I would go into those classes and I'd be like, wrong room, Maddie. I don't know, you know who you are. And also to connect a little bit more to the point I brought up about length, like and being a choreographer, like I love in-depth processes, and I loved, if I wasn't choreographing one yet, I wanted to at least be in one. And anytime I did a commercial gig, obviously loved the paycheck, but the like 2-day turnaround felt like a lack of creativity to me. Like there was no exploration. It was like, learn the 5, 6, 7, 8, go film it, get your paycheck. Lots of pros to that.
Yeah.
But for me, I was like, that doesn't fuel me. I'm just here for the paycheck, and nothing feels creative about this. So I'm sure, I don't know, like I'm not the commercial world queen in any way. I'm sure there's many settings that people have felt very creatively inspired. But
you did that yogurt commercial.
I did.
You did that yogurt commercial. I can't, like, that was your like moment as a
Do we
commercial
have a link
dancer.
for that? I need to see
Yeah,
this
we
yogurt
do.
commercial.
I'll send it
You
to you.
have to. She was a freaking star of this like yogurt commercial.
It was hilarious, but it was like the definition of just like a quick turnaround. I had a blast, but it was like I learned a 5, 6, 7, 8, and I did some musical theater in front of a camera, and we went on with our lives.
Yep.
So many great things about that. But yeah, I just didn't feel like I was being creatively stimulated in the commercial world the way I wanted to.
Great.
I definitely, that resonates with me as well, what Maddie said. And to piggyback on that, I feel like when I started going to BSA and I chose to go to the arts high school, I knew that I was being more serious about my training and where it was going to take me, because, and no offense to like the competition world or where we grew up and what we came from, because our studio emphasized technique.
Yes.
And that was really amazing, which was only a catalyst for me to go to the arts high school, get even more training that was going to prepare me to go, I guess, into the concert dance world.
Yeah.
And that was like, getting a taste of that. I was like, oh, like I can actually do this. Like this is something I enjoy doing. And I could also like see myself growing in a way that was going to be good for me down the road, I guess, to be successful. And I'm glad it did. I'm very glad it did. But I think like when I went to the Ailey school and I was seeing all these concert dance pieces being done in New York, like by the Ailey company or these other companies, it kind of just opened the doors for me to do even more research, to find out what I liked. even more about those kinds of things. And then I saw like NDT performances. And I was like, oh my God, okay, this is exactly what I want to do because it, like Maddie said, it really felt like stimulating for the soul, if you will. Like the commercial, I think it's more about like the exposure sometimes or the paycheck or like what artists have you been working with? What set have you been on? And I think in the concert dance world, that's not as important as like what choreographers in front of the room or who are you dancing next to and what piece are you dancing for audiences. And like just to be specific, there was like the Shannon Gillen piece that I did pre-COVID at LA Dance Project, and it was the most physical piece I have ever done in my entire life. Like I was fighting for my life in this piece, partnering two different girls, a guy, like, and the piece was 30 minutes and it was just four of us and it was so
Wow.
demanding.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, it
gosh.
was just,
I could never do
yeah,
that.
I was like,
Right. That's like a marathon. I mean,
Wow.
it was multiple things. It wasn't just a marathon, it was like a sprint it was like a sprint
within the
within a marathon.
marathon.
Yeah, within the
Oh my
marathon. And then
gosh.
I felt like I was also like in a wrestling match a little bit. But
Wow.
it was so gratifying though to
Mm.
like come off after doing that and feel like, wow, that was so challenging. That was so pushing me to the next level. And I'm so glad I did that because at the end of the day, I feel very fulfilled with the I guess the choice to go down that path. And without the training to back that up, I don't really think it's like necessarily, I don't want to say possible, but yeah, you kind of need that in your arsenal to do that kind of specific work, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, so speaking of that, what are the types of skills like when people go to a concert dance, a company audition? I mean,
Mm,
obviously, if we're being very
Mm.
specific, okay, if you go to the Graham company, that you know what they're looking for, like those
You go to
yes.
Mhm.
skills.
Ailey, you know
But
they're doing
Yes.
Horton. Like,
right, but like,
Hmm.
Right.
there's like your company, Maddie, for example, when you're hiring people, what are you looking for? What are people looking for when people go into these kind of auditions? Because it is a different world
yeah.
than, slate your name and do your time step and, what are your special skills? I'm sure it's
Mhm.
different. I've never been there, but I'm sure it's not that.
Right. I would say at least from my experience and then also auditioning people now, I would say it's so much about bringing all of yourself to the table and saying, this is who I am, this is what I bring, this is how I'm different. You either like jam with that or you don't. Like it's a lot more open and free. I think we are a lot further away from like a typecasting kind of world. I wouldn't say fully, like I
Hmm.
still very much stand by the fact that like we're making a company, we want a unified look maybe, we want a unified height maybe, like, ooh, we're replacing someone that's 5'2". Let's make sure that the female identifying person is also 5'2". Like there's a little bit of that, but I think the majority is just a lot of, especially creative based companies that are going to be like creating work, commissioning work, because there's also rep style companies. So something to think about there. But a lot of the choreographic based companies, I think, just want creative minds, open minds, people that are going to walk into the space and be an open vessel, be willing to contribute, be willing to collaborate. So
Mm.
I would say it's a lot more just about like bringing yourself to the table and being open in an audition. Like they want to see the people that are going to be like, I'm ready to do that. Like, do you have an idea? I have an idea. Like being open to sharing, dialoguing. I look for that a lot. Like I love playing around with an improv task and seeing what people think about it. If I ask a question and they don't want to answer, that to me is like, well, I don't know how I'm going to work on a creative process with you for 3 months if you can't dialogue with me about this.
Wow.
So
That's
I
so
care a
true.
lot about voice,
Yeah.
and Sidra, who I worked with, cares a lot about voice. And I think that like was instilled in me. My processes at Juilliard in college, a lot about voice. Like I think you should be open and willing to communicate with the people you're collaborating with.
Mm. Well, how much does like technique catch your eye? Are you even considering those people that are the eager speakers in the room? But what if their technique isn't up to par, but you like their enthusiasm and you like that they're excited and eager to speak, but unfortunately you're just not, you don't have the style or quality of movement or technique isn't there yet.
Yeah.
Good question. Good question.
For me, it's a lot about detail, which I think is technique. in a sense. Like my work is very detailed, and being like having the training and having the technical training to be able to listen and see and replicate and understand detail. If I'm doing like a D and they're like a do D,
Right, that's a different DDD.
Very different.
It's a different DDD.
Answer math.
I mean, I was like podcast. I can't give a visual right now.
Right.
But we understand the DTD.
We surely do.
We get the DDD, So yeah, I had a couple people, just being honest and frank, that I loved and could tell that they can learn a lot and they will get there, but they will still read the details. And I hired a few understudies that like I believe in and I think will get there. So that's kind of how I handled that situation. But yeah, I definitely look for technique and quality and detail. And I definitely think that's also our experience from auditioning. We have, you got to keep up.
Yeah,
you got to keep up.
That's true.
Doug, I want to hear your perspective on what is needed in the auditions, but also if you can bring in some of the male perspective too, as far as like what is needed.
Love that.
right.
Yeah, I guess from my experience, I think being a male dancer, you already kind of have an advantage. And I hate to say that, but it's true. In the dance world, just by being a male or a male identifying dancer in the room, I feel like you're already, at an advantage just because it's a smaller
Yeah, you've stuck
pool,
it out.
a smaller.
You've stuck it out that long.
Yeah.
You're still there. You're one of the ones that's still
You
there.
dealt
Right.
with all the crap for so long.
Oh my God.
Whereas all the women are
So-
like, we're still here because we're all still here. We're just all here.
There's all of us.
Exactly. Yeah, and like I just remember auditioning most of the time there were always more women, obviously, than men in the audition, unless like for LA Dance Project, they had a whole separate audition just for the guys.
Wow.
So, and there were like 70 guys in the audition in New
Wow.
York.
Wow. That's a
Wow.
lot.
And so yeah, and that was an interesting twist for me on like the normal setup of auditions because it was only guys in the room,
Yeah.
And so it was all this like male energy competing
Wow.
in the same space. So that was really interesting to go through that. But I think in general, yeah, being a guy, it kind of separates you already from the rest. So I don't want to say it was easier, but in a way it was.
Coming to you from our Season 5 premiere sponsor, Francisco Gala Dance Works, I'm excited to introduce New Century Dance Project, a festival of performance and choreography. New Century Dance Project focuses on teaching the craft of choreography and why it's important for both choreographers and the dancer. Festival components include a choreography intensive for dancers ages 15 to 24, a choreography competition, concert performances, and community outreach events. The 7-day intensive starts every day with a technique class. After that, participants will head into classes and seminars that aid in the choreographic process, such as compositional techniques, improv, use of props, music selection, partnering, lighting and design, and so much more. The choreographic competition offers 3 age groups: high school, undergraduate, and emerging professional. If you are an aspiring choreographer ages 15 or older looking to advance your composition knowledge and display your work in an artistic choreography competition, then look no further than New Century Dance Project, taking place this summer in Santa Fe, New Mexico from July 29th through August 4th, 2024. The deadline to submit your choreography for consideration is by March 1st, 2024. Use our exclusive podcast promo code MAKINGTHEIMPACT in all caps when registering for the festival to receive $75 off. Learn more on their website at newcenturydanceproject.org.
Is there like a heavy expectation of you already knowing how to partner, already knowing how to execute a lot of different lifts with different people and things like that?
Yes, and I wasn't always the best at that either. Like that wasn't my strong suit. I had to really work on that. And so that was a weak point for me in auditions is when I would get to the partnering and then I was like, oh shoot, like I'm not really standing out in this moment. I'm kind of like the weak link. So I really had to work on that aspect of myself. And like even Maddie knows when we joined LA Dance Project, we had to do that Graham duet together.
I was just about to say, Doug is a fantastic partner, so I don't know what he's saying. I was like waiting for my moment to creep in on that. Doug and I did a Graham duet together.
We did. And I
And it
wanted
was
to talk.
hard.
It was hard, and I wanted to talk about that moment because Maddie and I joined at very different times in like our careers and our lives.
Oh, yeah.
So I had been with a few companies at this point. I was in like, the latter half of my career, and Maddie's fresh out of school.
Yeah.
So I had more experience at that point. I felt more confident and comfortable partnering
Mm.
at this point. So thank you, Maddie, for
Okay.
saying that.
Okay, I was about to say.
Yeah, but in the early stages of my career, I didn't really feel that confident like I did when I met you at LADP. And she's standing on the backs of my legs. I'm like face down on the floor, and she has to do this like squat on the back of my legs, like
I had to
standing on my
stand on
hands.
his hamstrings. Yeah. He was
Ah,
like laying flat and he like curled his legs up. And so I had to stand on his
okay.
hamstrings and then do a slow squat on his hamstrings where like no matter how strong you are, that's not a
Yeah, that's
That's
not comfortable.
awful.
And I'm like face down, like, how can I help, Maddie? Like, what can I
What
do?
can I do for you?
And she's like, and I just remember Maddie being like, well, just relax, please. Don't fidget. It's like, okay,
Don't
yeah,
fidget.
I can do that as a partner. But sorry, we're a little off track.
No, I love it.
I think the initial question was being a male and going to these auditions, right, for like concert dance companies. And I think what if I was in the front of the room as a director or somebody who's like, looking for dancers, I think I would want somebody who's unique, knows themselves, and like lets that stand out. Like their personality is going to show, and what sets them apart from other people in terms of like training, quality, like Maddie said, attention to detail, also being able to pick things up quickly. That's a big
Mhm.
one.
Yeah.
That is a
And
big
and
one.
being able to take the note.
Right.
Take the note, y'all.
Like
Yep.
take the note
Take the
and
note.
apply it. Take the note and apply it. That's what we would say, and again, like when I was younger, I had to learn all these things because I was just stubborn and arrogant, and I didn't really apply those things. And I noticed that that was hurting me in auditions.
Mm.
I was like, oh, okay, this is something I really need to work on, and I really need to focus on so that people aren't just looking at me as another body in space
Mm,
or just another person who's like, I just need a job.
Right.
right.
It's more like, no, I want to be here because this is the work that interests me, and I feel like I can grow here as a dancer. If we're talking about like companies.
Right.
Well, that's really like
Mhm.
amazing on you to notice that, like,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and to make a change, because there's so many dancers who won't.
Mhm.
There's so many
Right.
dancers who will never ever figure out what's not working for me
Mhm.
in the room. I guess
Yeah.
I'm just not good, and they'll quit and they'll just
Right.
give up. And because whatever their mindset is, but you were like, what's going on? There's something here that I need to fix. I need to figure this out. Maybe it's this. Let me shift this perspective. And boom, it worked for you. Like, that's just, I mean, I'm assuming it did. It probably, like, I
Well,
mean, you've,
yes, but also like work ethic,
Yeah.
It's recognition and yourself, because I feel like some people will go in and be like, oh, it's not me. They just, are looking for somebody else, or
Right.
it's typecasted, or
Mhm.
we make excuses for ourselves.
yeah.
And I think what I was trying my best to realize in that moment is like, okay, what can I do differently? And what can I change so that this doesn't keep happening?
Right.
Well,
So,
and that's
and
important. That's an important skill for even the dancers that are listening today to learn is like that self-evaluation.
Yeah.
Like you can go to a competition and hear in one ear out the other, whatever the critique is, your
That's true.
teacher can say it.
Right.
But like when it comes down to it, you're the one who has to find the things that you can fix because nobody else can fix
yes.
them but you. So I do think that the youths of today need to hear that because it's
Yeah.
your best
It's
only can be
important.
generated from you.
Yeah,
I also
and
think that
you're responsible.
Mhm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
Sorry,
you,
sorry,
John.
Maddie.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. No, I just think you're responsible. You have to hold yourself
Mhm.
accountable. I feel like
Mhm.
today
Right.
we talk accountability, right? So then don't make excuses, hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
And every time you go to that audition, you don't get it, you come back
Yeah.
Right.
and you show them that you've been working on yourself.
Right. And some things are out of your hands. Sometimes it is. We just need someone who's 5'2", the end.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you're 5'7", and you're amazing, and we love you, and you're so good. and you're 5'7". That's it. Sometimes
Yeah.
that's it. Fix that. You can't work on it, but
Yeah.
like be introspective enough to realize when that's the case and when it is something you're doing, because there's reasons, there's moments you can figure that out.
I loved when you were talking about like your, I don't know if you use this word, but like your ego and stuff. I think a lot about ego. Like ego lives in us. It's toned up, it's turned up, it's turned down in every
Especially
situation.
as dancers.
Right. We all have our ego, and I think our ego can be our worst enemy. But something that was like a big shift in my career, and something I think about now on the other side when I'm leading a room, is you don't realize when you're a dancer and you're in like a long creative process, like sometimes we were LADP, how little anything has to do with you. And like like, it's not, I'm sorry,
Right.
it's not the choreographer's problem to come over and stroke your ego. It's just not.
It's absolutely
and that's
not.
the biggest learning experience for me, where like looking back and even being a kid, obviously as a kid, you don't understand this, but getting older and stuff, the moments where I was like, so like so-and-so saying something that I thought was snapping at me really had nothing to do with me. Like they have a piece to make, they have a product to finish. Doesn't mean they don't care about you. Like, let's go have Kiki at lunch. But in the room, like, leave your ego out. We're making a piece. We don't, we, like engineers, I bet, don't go in and like working on making a chip and they're like, oh, someone hurt my feelings because they didn't like my idea of the chip today. Like, it's
Maybe
really
they do,
okay.
though. Maybe they do.
Maybe. I don't know. Ask my dad. He's an engineer. I'd be like, Dad, do you get upset about this? No, I just think like, or injuries. Like when I was a kid, I used to be terrified to tell my teacher. And then it was like, now when someone comes up to me and they're terrified, tell me, I'm like, this is your injury. Like, why are you I couldn't, no offense. And I hope Jason's in a good way. I go home and I forget about this injury. Like, so it's like we carry this weight. Like we think our teachers and our choreographers and our bosses are like sitting around all night thinking about And like once I released that, I know some things I'm saying could sound negative, but once I released that and was really like, we're here to do a job and we're doing our best, my ego like calmed down.
Yeah, and I think again to piggyback on the ego comment, it's also important to note that in auditions, you don't want your ego to be displayed. You want your confidence to be displayed. Because when ego's involved, I think, and that's when it's like personal or people take things personally, and that's when it gets convoluted and it's not about the work.
Right.
It's about me, and that's not the focus. Like we're part of a collective, especially in company work or in the concert dance world, I think, because most of the time, if it's not a solo, then you're dancing with other people.
Right.
So your ego's got to be checked. Check your ego at the door.
That's it.
So that the work can get done and that we can enjoy the work that we're doing and we can enjoy what we're doing with each other. And like in the commercial world, because like I've done music videos, like with Complexions, I did like a Jill Scott music video and some other commercial things, right? But it's different. It's not the same as like if you're gonna do the same piece maybe like 14 times within 2 weeks at a certain venue. Or another thing with concert dance was like the touring.
Let's talk about it.
Like, let's talk about it. Well, Maddie and I believe we did a Hawaii tour our first season.
That was like,
I mean, that sounds like a dream. Hello, that's a dream.
Oh, that was.
There's like these rules when you tour or with a great company like LADP is, where they like respect your, like, if you travel a day, you don't work that day or the next day.
Yeah.
Or like there's like,
there's rules in like the Broadway unions and stuff too about that kind of stuff.
Totally. So it's similar to that. So we would go on these long, much further, like Hong Kong, Europe tours where like those days were really needed because we were super jet lagged and all these things.
Oh, yeah.
When we went to Hawaii, we took a 20-minute hopper plane and then we landed and then we had that whole day and then the day after to recoup.
Ooh.
It was amazing.
Vacay.
We had so much fun. It was great. Anyways, but
but they're not.
Other tours are
not.
hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're not all like that.
Right. Yeah.
No,
that's the luxury beautiful one.
And not all. Yeah, that was the pinnacle, the apex of like, is this really how tour life can be?
Right.
Like,
and there were some really hard tours. I remember I was laying on the beach though in Hawaii when I like got my scholarship to CalArts, and I was like, well, this is a hard decision now because right now I'm on the beach.
Period.
But anyways, yeah, no, touring is great. I think the hardest thing is like it's a dream. I mean, it's a dream come true to travel the world and do what you love. Things I struggled with was like health things. Like I have an autoimmune disease, so sometimes traveling is challenging. Flying obviously adds a lot to the stress of your body, and then injuries, and then like show after show after show. Like I remember some of our
Yeah.
Paris like weeks of
Oh,
shows
yeah.
were like just I would just pray I'd
Grueling.
get through the night. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, really, really, really hard stuff. And so,
Grueling.
yeah, I mean, touring is amazing, but it's hard.
It is, but it also, in my mind, it kind of separates the ones who can like keep up,
Mm.
and who are willing to like put up with a grueling schedule to be traveling to these different stages throughout the world
Mm.
or wherever. And like I have a friend from LA Dance Project, her name's Sierra Herrera. She's incredible. She's back on tour with Madonna and
Mm.
she's been doing that world tour. So there's like that commercial in the commercial world. You also have like Beyonce tour, Taylor Swift,
Right.
like
Touring is hard in
there's
general for
also,
everyone.
oh
Right,
yeah,
right.
absolutely. But I think my point, I guess, is like with concert dance and commercial, the tours are still happening, but they're kind of a different setup.
Mm.
It's not the same. And
And
I
probably
and I
budget
don't know if
too.
that's for better for yeah, budget wise. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you're probably
Oh, yeah.
not getting like first class flights and 5-star hotels with a concert dance tour, whereas maybe if you're Taylor Swift's dancer, maybe that's in your contract. Like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it depends on
Oh,
which company
totally.
you work with.
yeah.
Yeah, it's also like dependent on who you're working for and what kind of contract they have going on with their agency.
Yeah.
Well, and also the amount of people in a concert dance company. I mean, how many people are we talking?
Uh, from the smaller ones, you can have anything from like Maddie, where she has what, like seven dancers, six or
Hmm.
seven, and then you have like Paris Opera, which is like 160 or something. I think they
Jeez.
have one of the largest concert dance companies
Wow.
where it's like 160 dancers contracted.
Ailey's a large company, right?
Ailey's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
big.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
like
I
New
would
York.
say like an average is like 20 to 30,
Mm.
right? Would you say it's like an average company? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more like I guess 15.
Mm.
Yeah, that's kind of where my mind was
Wow.
thinking.
Well, that's a very small amount of people, like if you really think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the same
Mm.
with like a lot of Broadway shows and even like touring, like a lot of artists who have touring dancers. Like, if
Mhm.
people are listening, like 15 spots in a dance
Right.
company,
Right,
like
Right.
right.
7 girls, male identifying, 7 female identifying, like that's it, y'all. And you have to, sometimes people like and I wanted to ask this question actually now that we're here. What is it?
Mhm.
How does the contract work? The duration of the job? Are dancers getting brought on for an entire season, an entire year, or are they able to renew their contract? Do they have to be invited to renew their contract? Like, how long can you stay with the dance company? I truly don't even really know how that works. Do you have to like re-audition
Mhm.
at the end of each year, or are you just invited back?
There's lots of laughter and grins happening, listeners.
I think that Doug can answer that more in depth, but I'll just say like my quick experience. Often, there's different contracts. Like there's a guest contract.
Mhm,
Sometimes there's
mhm,
an
mhm.
apprentice contract.
Oh.
There's sometimes you come on for one project, but typically, or at least what I've experienced, you're offered a year.
Mm.
And or within that year, to be clear, it's like a certain amount of weeks, or like it
Yeah.
obviously depends on the contract. But if you sign to like 6 months or 12 months or whatever it is, I would kind of say at the end of the year, they kind of evaluated you all year.
Ah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how you've been in the studio, how your work ethic has been, how you've performed, if you, yeah, all of those things that like you're valued on at a normal job, I'm assuming. And at the end of the year, it's kind of like a discussion. If you want to stay, if you're offered to stay,
Yes.
you can speak on more of that, Doug, though.
Yeah. And yeah, it does vary. I've done everything from like a 6-month contract that wasn't renewed just because of what they needed at the time. Or like Maddie said, it's pretty seasonal work. So like a season will start in August and it will end in July.
Okay.
Or, typically a year, but like Maddie said, you can be guaranteed anything from like 30 weeks to 40 weeks, depending on which company you work for. And yeah, the evaluations are they're everlasting.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
They're
from
just constantly
and
happening,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Stressful.
like every
yeah,
day. Well, and so, and
yeah.
when you're talking about a season, that's not a like a chunk of that is learning the material, a chunk of that is rehearsing the material, and a chunk of that is performing the material, right?
Oh,
You're
oh
not,
yes.
like I think with like Broadway, you learn the material and then you do it. And then you have brush ups and you have put-ins and you have whatever else during that
Hmm.
Hmm.
part. But like y'all are kind of like, we learn it, we rehearse it, we do it. And I'm sure you have brush ups and
Hmm.
things like that as well, right?
Yeah. Yes, and to add on to that, you also within these concert dance companies, most of the time, you're gonna have a lot of different pieces too. Like it's
Right.
Hmm.
repertoire.
Right.
So
Right.
you're changing from one, you're constantly putting on different hats and having to jump into
Right.
multiple different pieces that are
Hmm.
not of the same,
And maybe that you
ish.
haven't visited in a while. It's like,
Oh,
oh, here's this piece we're doing, and nobody's seen it for 5 weeks. Like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna
Oh, for
like,
sure.
yeah.
That's very normal. Yeah.
Wow,
that,
crazy.
yep, yeah, that
Oh
part
yeah.
too.
It'll be like on a lot of tours that we were on, even we would do like a lot of companies like do a certain program
Right.
Hmm.
and then switch to another
Right.
program, and maybe program B or program C they haven't touched for like 3 months. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things to touch. So
Yeah.
there's only so many hours,
And
so many hours in a
including
day.
including each other, because you have to partner, you have to be in space with one another.
Good one.
I feel
You
like
have to
that's
touch each other's hearts. You have to touch the audience's hearts.
I feel like that's where like competitive dance could come into like help a concert dancer because of the amount of like
Mm.
dances you learn growing up for competition
Oh
through
yeah.
your years, and like maybe you haven't done this one in a few weeks or whatever it is, or it's just you've ingrained it into your brain from so many rehearsals that you can like revisit that part of your brain and pull that choreography out, or helping you learn choreography quickly and remembering it and retaining it, or applying those details
Absolutely.
and things in rehearsals. But I think the difference is that a dance competition dance is 2 minutes long, and some
Right.
of these pieces of work are
Oh, yeah.
15 minutes to 30 minutes in length. So, and not leaving, like you might
Always.
leave the stage for like a minute and you're back. Like the stamina that is required to execute.
Yeah. Because I remember with Dancing with Complexions. Oh my gosh. The amount of time I had off stage versus on stage. Whoa. Quite the differential.
Wow.
Like I remember going off for maybe like a minute, if that, to catch my breath, and that was it. For like a 40-minute piece. No big deal.
Wow.
That's all she wrote.
That's
But-
I also think that the auditioning in the competition world definitely helped me as well. Like in the
Oh yeah.
I feel like I know so many people that didn't. Now I have a mentor program, and a lot of my mentees are not in the competition world, and a lot of them get to college auditions and they're like baffled
oh.
and so stressed and don't know. Like one of my assistants, she was my mentee, and I adore her. She was just like came to me one day and was just like, I don't understand like how to audition. I don't know how I'm getting cut. I don't know. And I was like, well, what are you doing? She kind of teach it. I treat like a class, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, that's not.
We need Yeah, so I think that like the auditioning really taught me a lot, and I think helped me a lot in my career.
Wow. That's really great advice, and that's really interesting to hear as well. So before we continue our chat, I have some sad news, and that is that Madi has to leave us on this discussion already. And you have contributed so much, and I'm so grateful that you were able to squeeze us into your busy schedule. But you have a rehearsal to catch, and I want to make sure that you get there on time. So Madi, if you could share one final thought about the topic today, which is concert dance. So it can be speaking to dancers out there. You can talk to the studio owners on like how to better prepare dancers for a concert career. Ooh, you can talk to dancers who are in college about to break into the professional world. Whoever you want to talk to.
Wow. Okay. I don't know if I can do one sentence, but I'll try to keep it short. I just want to encourage the dancers to pave their own way in whatever that means to them. You don't have to follow any type of specific guideline you think you need to follow. You don't have to follow anyone's specific career, specific trajectory. Find what you love, find what you want to do, be inspired by those people, and see what you want to do with that. Be open to training programs and colleges. I think they can open so many doors And sometimes if you feel like you don't know a lot about them, ask your questions, do your research, find your amazing teachers, maybe at a convention or something that have had that type of career, and ask them about programs, ask them about school, ask them about summer programs, like get out of your bubble. And whatever you do, you're going to achieve.
Amen. Well said, Maddie.
Thank you, Maddie.
Okay, I love you guys. I love you guys.
Bye.
Have
Great
fun.
job. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
Maddie.
you.
Love
Bye.
you.
I have another question. And
Yeah.
this is actually a little, you can tell me if you want to tell me, but since we're in the contract
It's
talk
intimate.
right now.
Is it an intimate question?
No, it's not intimate. Well, I mean, it's a personal, I guess, sort of, but
Okay,
more
yeah,
general.
yeah.
Money. How much money do these concert dancers make on a contract? Is it a weekly salary? Is it an annual salary? Is it a hourly
paid per
rate?
gig?
Is it
Thank you for your
pay?
contribution? I love you.
Like, yeah.
Well,
I feel like there's a
let me
stigma.
tell you.
Yes.
Let me tell you. Okay. So basically, let's start at the beginning. After going to the Ailey Fordham program, I was apprenticing with Ailey too.
And you got that through an audition. It didn't
I got
just
that-
happen because you were there. Like, I think people
No,
need to
it
understand
did.
that kind of thing too.
No,
Okay.
it
Does everybody do that?
It kind of happened because I was there. Like,
We got
I'm
invited
pretty sure they
into
had
the
a-
Apprentice of Ailey too because you were at Fordham and they liked what you were
Yes,
doing.
and
Okay.
so
This is not an
Yeah, I
everybody
mean-
who goes to the Fordham Ailey program gets to do this. This still
No.
constitutes a being chosen or being an audition ish.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So they know who you are. They talk. Everybody talks, So they know what you're capable of, and they'll invite you into the room to work with the people who are part of Ailey too, and see if
Mhm.
you're fit for the apprenticeship. And so then back to pay. Obviously no pay there.
no
You're not getting
apprentice
it.
pay. Okay.
Wow.
You're just lucky.
Yes, but you're lucky in that setting, but there are companies that do have paid apprenticeships.
Okay.
Not all of them. Some of them do, if you're lucky.
And we're
even
not
then,
talking living wage pay. We're talking
Oh, no, no,
token
no.
of appreciation pay.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
For most of the time, yes. And that means you're getting a side job just to put food on the table for yourself.
Wow.
Or,
Got
your parents have to provide for you, or, but whatever means.
Mhm.
I've been offered apprenticeships quite a few times, and there were times when I turned it down because I'm like, no, I have to go get a job that's actually going to be able to pay my bills.
Right.
And
Because
so
you
in
want
the- in
that
the
to
v-
be your job. You don't want that to be that's why I think there's that stigma of dance because you sometimes the job that you're doing can't actually support you in life with the
Yep.
salary that it's offering. And that is
Yep.
okay to say no if it's not going to work in your life where you're like, listen, I'm trying to make a career out of this. And I understand there's stepping stones to get to this dream company of mine where I'm going to
Yes.
have to make financial sacrifices to get there. But at the same time, I need to be able to pay my rent in New York City and eat. Those are the two
Yeah.
requirements. And how much
Yeah.
sacrifice are you willing to make this dream? It's a tough thing to navigate.
Oh, absolutely. And I think they're also watching to see how you handle that.
Mm.
It's if you really want to be here, if this is the company that you're really interested in, are you willing to make those sacrifices?
Wow. Yeah.
And yeah, and it's hard.
That's tough.
It's just, so they say, it's a dog eat dog world out there
Mm.
because there are hundreds and thousands of dancers vying for the same jobs, even if it's just an apprenticeship or it's
Right.
just getting your foot in the door at all for I want to say kind of bare minimum pay.
Right.
And
Now, with any of these jobs, are you getting any sort of benefits, any health insurance for the bigger contracts for your people who are seasonal Ailey dancers work the whole season, right?
Yes. So in that respect, and I meant to touch on this topic. So with Ailey or Ballet Hispanico or ABT or New York City Ballet, these are AGMA companies. So they are union. They have healthcare. They have benefits. They have maybe even paid time off or
Mm-hmm.
Sick
those kind
pay,
of
maternity leave.
Mhm.
yeah, those kind of luxuries. But the majority of companies don't have that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
To put things in perspective, it wasn't even when I went to LA Dance Project, I didn't have benefits
Really?
until COVID happened. And then we had this wonderful dancer who left the company, Rochelle. She was a grant writer for the company. And we finally got benefits because she wrote a grant and we got a grant.
Wow.
Wow.
But before that, we didn't have any benefits through the company, and every other company that I worked with, and this is probably going to turn a lot of people off to concert dance now that I'm saying this out loud, but it's true. All the companies I worked for leading up to that, no benefits,
Really?
and it was basically a weekly salary, and then there was also points when we weren't working, so we
Right.
were on layoff, and you have to collect unemployment during
Yeah.
that time because and it sucks, but like a lot of concert dance companies are not funded like New York City Ballet is
Right.
or ABT or Ailey. Like these bigger companies have bigger donors
Yeah.
and a bigger community to support them, and that's why they thrive and survive because they have the necessary funding or they're getting the grants. And a lot of these smaller companies that I've worked for in the past, that's not the case. And so you can only provide so much. But as an artist, again, it's like, are you willing to make these sacrifices to do what you love, to
Right.
travel the world,
Right.
to grace the stages in front of these audiences all over the world? And like they don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but we do. We know that
Hmm.
like, is my rent going to be paid on time?
Right.
Ugh.
Right.
Right.
Quick episode pause for a cause, y'all. I'm here to tell you that Apollo Shocks are changing the game. They are the only dance sock I know that are APMA approved and made from certified Reprieve sustainable yarns. They are so comfortable, supportive, and did I mention good for the planet? One of my favorite things about my Apollo Shocks is the optional traction grip that can be added to the ball of the foot. This allows for more resistance against the marley floor while you turn, transition, and train. Grab a pair of Apollo Shocks now by using the promo code IMPACT10 in the box at checkout for 10% off your order. Visit apolloperformance.com to view all of their variations of sock styles, colors, and compression. That's apolloperformance.com. APOLLA performance.com.
And the sacrifice might be living with 4 other people when you're 30.
Oh,
The
oh yeah.
sacrifice might be, yeah, I have to pay into the healthcare system myself because
Hmm.
dancers need healthcare. It's like we can't just sit
Hmm.
around and hope that you're not going to get injured or hope that you're not going to need
Yep.
PT.
There's going to be workman's
But
comp though, right? If you get injured.
yes, yes, because contractually, like that has to be included.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to be under some legal scrutiny
Right.
because you can't, like, you're working a physical job where you're prone to getting,
Absolutely.
Right.
and
Absolutely.
I was going to say effed up. Like that comes with the territory. Like
Right.
there is a
Yeah.
chance that can happen. And as dancers, I feel like we train so hard to not let that happen because our livelihood
Yeah.
depends on it. And there was one more thing I wanted to say about that, and it really bugs me that in this country, in America, healthcare is such a like it's why is it just not universal?
Right.
Right.
Like it would solve so many problems for like so many people. And also, yeah, this is like a political plug right now, but it really is because it upsets me that a lot of these companies can't provide. But what's the government doing? Why can't we just have universal healthcare? Then the issue's gone,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And we
a
don't have to.
struggle
We
we
don't have
deal
to.
with often.
Well, and that's such a concern of parents, even for people
Yes.
going into commercial dance, Broadway. If you're
Yeah.
lucky, you get enough, you work enough as a union actor or dancer to get healthcare. It's all tied to your job, which is the way it is for everybody's job, sadly, no matter if you're a performer or not. But like,
Mhm.
this is a big piece of reality that you have to consider is, are you willing to not have healthcare or pay out the wazoo for it if
Mhm.
you're going that
Yeah.
track? Maybe you're lucky enough to
Yeah.
have some kind of side job somehow that you can do that provides those benefits and allows you to work for a company. But those are few and far
Right.
between. And some, like you said, people have to make sacrifices, and those sacrifices
Yes.
look really different to make anything
Yes.
happen.
But the difference is the people who are dancing with these companies in Europe, that's not an issue.
Right.
Right. And you see a lot of dancers head on over.
Yep.
Oh,
to
yeah.
get some work in Europe because it's better to work there.
Which is a wonderful scene of concert dance in Europe. And Europe appreciates this art form and funds this art form. And
the government does. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And
tax-paying dollars do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So like, but a lot of the very well-known dance companies, the scene of that does exist in Europe. And I think that is another, for dancers out there to understand the world. What is that one, Springboard or something? Or
Yeah. Oh, because I've done Springboard twice. I did Springboard 2 years in a row. And the first year I did Springboard, I got a job. That was my first professional job, was with Jose Nava's company Flack, because I worked with him at Springboard. And so that was a segue into my first concert dance company job.
And can you explain what Springboard is and who it's for?
Yes, and hopefully Springboard appreciates me as an alumni putting this in there, because I tell other dancers about this now, like at Chapman and at USC where I teach. And it's not okay, so it's been going on for several years, but they're taking a little hiatus because they're moving Springboard from Montreal, where it's always happened, and they're relocating it to the US now.
Oh, interesting.
And basically Springboard is this platform for all these dancers that really love concert dance, right? And they want to work with concert dance choreographers or companies. So you get accepted into Springboard, and then you get picked to work with a particular company that's participating at Springboard. And then there's a showcase. So then a lot of people, I don't want to say, sorry, not a lot, but a good amount of people are getting jobs from doing this summer program that is Springboard.
Cool. Yeah.
Because you're working with up and coming choreographers, or you're working with choreographers that already have a company or they have projects, and they're looking for dancers.
Wow. So it's just like a big meeting place kind of opportunity to get exposed to all these different opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
An opportunity.
Oh yeah, an opportunity within an opportunity that leads to other opportunities. Hopefully, not for everybody. And
Sure.
I'm gonna be real honest. It's it's not like they have 100 jobs for 100 dancers, but you're also meeting other people that are in the same pool as you. And that was which was so incredible, was the community.
Oh yeah.
And Springboard, I love Springboard so much because what they're doing is incredible. And they are creating they have a platform that is trying to assist and elevate within the concert dance world people who really want to be there.
Is it associated with a certain company? Like, who's in charge? Who created it?
The woman in charge is Alexandra Wells, and she was a teacher at Juilliard. And then she, like Sidra Bell, has been a part of Springboard. Kyle Abraham. I'm not sure if you're familiar with these choreographers within the concert dance world, but
I'm not.
Yeah.
So these are new names for me.
I've
That's
heard of
awesome.
them.
Yeah. And then like there are Montreal-based companies that are usually a part of Springboard, but then there's also the US ones or international ones. So they've grown and expanded a lot over the years.
Yeah.
And it is a segue for younger dancers or even older dancers that are looking for jobs within the concert dance world.
That's awesome. And I've never heard of that before. So that's so cool for a new, just a new thing to know about, to be able to recommend. That's awesome.
It's been around for a while.
Oh yeah, it has. And it has quite the rapport because it's top notch as far as summer programs go. You're not, I don't want to say just going to learn. You're going for the experience. You're going for a potential job.
And to have all those networking connections and the community. And
absolutely.
Just like we say all the time, your competitors at competition will be your peers and could be the people who hire you eventually. Same thing there. It's everybody is all in this together.
Yeah. But I think it's important to note that the showcase at the end is super, like, that's when you show off all the work that you've been doing for this 3 weeks, I think it is. And it's so rewarding. Oh, such a amazing, incredible experience and feeling to get out on that stage finally. And yeah.
We could probably talk about this all day. And I feel like I've learned so much. And I also think that this is extremely informative for everyone. I mean, this is going to be an eye-opening thing.
Okay, good. That's great. I love to hear that because people need the info. I don't think I touched on this fully, but like going from the apprenticeship into my first company job, man, that pay was like, and no offense to the company I worked with, but the pay was just like, oh man, what am I gonna do?
Oh, really?
Like this is like struggle bus. And that was like over, 12 whatever amount of years ago. I was like, oh, is it going to be like this my entire career?
Right, right.
Right.
It could be
Like,
discouraging.
It's a reckoning, yeah.
yes, for sure. It was like pretty discouraging. But then again, like you always have to go back to weighing the pros and the cons and making sacrifices if that's really what you want to do.
Especially when you're
And
first getting
somehow,
started and you've put the time in already
yeah,
with the apprenticeship and then you finally got the job and you're like,
yeah.
oh, okay. Well, I guess I got to stick this out a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, unless you're willing to do those Broadway auditions.
Right. Which those don't always lead you to
And
much either.
exactly. So it's important to note that it wasn't like right away, oh yeah, I'm making bank
Right.
with my first company job or even the second one or the one after that or I'm constantly bouncing around because like, whoo, okay, I gotta make it work. I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
gonna be getting, it's not like there's a six-figure salary in my future with
Right.
this project-based work or these concert dance company jobs that I'm doing. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to know that it's gonna be like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have to,
And
yeah.
that that you're going to be doing sometimes just like 2-3 month contracts, project-based work, or even within a season at a company, you're not going to get 40 weeks of work. You might only get
Right.
30, if that, if less.
Yeah.
So then the freelancing, side gigs come into play and all those other things. Just you got to make it work. And that's how I ended up with Complexions and even then, like before I joined Complexions, I was struggle busing in New York too. I just moved back to New York. I had no money. I was apprenticing again as like a 25-year-old at Perry Dance just because I needed to keep training so that I
Mm-hmm.
could go into an audition and get a job. And I'm glad I did because then I got the job at Complexions and I was like, okay, I can like, at least get my head above water again for a bit. And I don't want people out there listening to, sound like, oh my God, I was drowning the entire time.
Right.
But I'm gonna say it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
And there's some merit to that because it made me stronger. It made me smarter. It made me tenacious, resourceful. That's
Well, and it led you to the place you are now. You're teaching at two
Mhm.
colleges currently?
Yeah, I'm actually adjunct lecturer at USC, which that happened last year after leaving Los Angeles Dance Project, thankfully. That was another like, whoa, okay, transition, what am I going to do in my life
Yep.
type of thing. And thankfully that happened. And then the Joffrey Ballet School also kind of snatched me up and was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, we need you to go do these Joffrey auditions that are throughout the US. And they also have international ones that I haven't done, but yeah, so Chapman University as well,
Mm-hmm.
because my boss from Complexions, Dwight Roden, asked me to sub quite a few classes at Chapman for him. So there's
Yeah.
also that. Yeah.
Well, and I think it's important, again, for the parents out there to think about the long game and help your child think about the long game. Yes, the
Yes.
first 10 years of your young adulthood, if you want to be a dancer, are probably going to be spent struggling. Just
Mm-hmm.
that's just real for all of us. It's not
Real
everybody who
talk.
books Hamilton and then is in the whole run
Yeah.
of Hamilton from day one to the tour. That happens for some
Yes.
people. It doesn't happen for everyone. So,
No.
but the long game is if you put in the work, if you get all these experiences, if you stay the course, the next step is maybe working at a university, teaching
Mm-hmm.
the new generation, applying all that information that you've gained over the years. Like, yeah, you can be an adjunct faculty member at a college and never have a performing career. That happens. But I think you're more
Mm-hmm.
valuable as a faculty member who has had these experiences. And so, there's a little bit of stability. There's a little bit of, you probably have some health insurance now that's paid for, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and like we all know,
Absolutely.
adjunct faculty at a lot of places aren't paid as well as they probably should be. But
Yeah.
it's a step up, and then the next step may
Mm-hmm.
be something bigger. So the long game is important when thinking about a dance career because it will be
Yes.
hard at first, but it won't always be the slog that it is.
Yes. And I think, and add on to that, because I think this is one of the questions, like, do you need to go to university? Do you need to get a degree to go into the concert dance world? And then the answer is no, you don't. However, and I've had this conversation with younger dancers who are, struggling or like, what am I considering that, you know? And I said, well, I may still be paying off my loans from going to college, but that training that I got wouldn't trade it for anything. And because it set me up and because I have my degree and the professional experience, I'm able to teach at USC. I got the job at USC. I can jump into teaching those classes at Chapman or, wherever life might take me. But you kind of, and I think most universities require that you have a degree to even be adjunct.
That's true.
So that's something to be noted. And you can still do concert dance but I think you need like 14 to 15 years of professional experience if you
At
don't
the right
have a degree.
places. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, at the right places. So whoever's listening out there, note that if you're thinking about that, it's something to consider, because not only are you getting 3 to 4 years of intense, extensive training if you go to a university, but you also have that degree to back you up later on. If you want to go get your master's, if you want a graduate program, then you already have the prerequisites. You're one step ahead.
That's true.
Yeah.
One step ahead more than me, because I don't have a degree.
Yeah, but I recall you went to Marymount for a bit.
No, I went for 1 semester.
And then said nope.
I was like, ooh, this
and that's
isn't
fine.
for me.
Yeah, but you did just fine.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to go through with that.
Yeah.
You're like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna make it work. And you did. And that's something that should be highlighted, is that everybody has a different trajectory or path. But I think Madi touched on this earlier, is like knowing that, okay, it is for me, or it's like, no, what? I gotta know the difference.
And that's where your self-introspection and your self-reflection comes in as well, is there too.
Mm-hmm.
Not only am I good at this thing that I'm doing and how can I be better, but who actually am I? What do I actually want?
Right. And it's all full circle. So many times I've seen, especially in the dance world, everything comes full circle at some point. In the concert dance world, networking, everybody knows each other. The dance world's so small, but everybody talks. Everyone knows each other. This person knows this person who also, so eventually it's like, what, 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon?
Yep.
Whatever that thing is. It's basically the same thing in the dance world. No matter whether you're doing commercial dance or concert dance, it's about who you know and who knows you. I'm thankful for every teacher that I've ever had. Miss Shannon, wow. Adrian Canturna, Ashley Canturna, they came and taught at Hot Shots. And then BSA was like, I couldn't have done it without these teachers or like this foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important to note that without the foundation and the mentors, the wonderful, absolutely wonderful teachers that I've had that pushed me and made me the dancer that I am to go on and succeed, I don't think I could have done it without them.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode all about concert dance. Special shout out to our guests for joining us. Don't forget to follow them on Instagram. You can find Doug at Doug Baum and Madi at Madi Hicks.
Don't forget to follow Making the Impact on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, and pretty much everywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you want more exclusive episodes, support our podcast by joining our Platinum Premium membership for only $5 a month. Subscribers receive free Making the Impact stickers, shout-outs live on the air, ad-free listening, and exclusive access to our Q&A episodes for members only. Join now at impactdanceadjudicators.com/platinum premium or click the link in our show notes.
Attention all dancers! Looking for some outside expertise to fine-tune your dance before hitting the competition stage this season? Then check out IDA's online judges critiques. Our seasoned judges will provide you with a video critique of your routine, just like you'd receive at competition. But with IDA's online judges critiques, we take it one step further with our post-critique additional feedback. Your judge will go through your routine again, pausing the video to give you even more detailed and personalized feedback. You can even request a judge that specializes in your style of dance. This game-changing service has helped countless dancers prepare for the competitive stage and is available year-round. With critiques starting at only $35, what are you waiting for? Click the link in our show notes or visit our website at impactdanceadjudicators.com/online critiques to learn more and submit your dance today.
Season 5 of Making the Impact is almost over, but we have a few more great episodes coming your way, including how judges' emotions affect scoring, tips on changing studios, and transitioning from competitive dancer to professional dancer.
We hope you're enjoying Season 5. Happy comp season. We'll see you next week. Until then, keep dancing.